Welcome to our conversation. In the weeks and months to come, we're going to be taking a good look at the human animal. We're going to be looking at the human predicament and the human body in context. And this is a particularly vital conversation for us to be having at this moment in history because we don't know we don't know how to live right now. We don't know how to think. We don't know how to feel. We don't know how to behave. And we're really not talking about the things that really matter for us right now. We're talking about everything else under the sun except our ecological predicament. So we begin by telling the truth. This is the first principle of Extinction Rebellion. You may have heard about this. The idea is that we take the predicament head on. We talk about the scope, the magnitude, the severity, and the urgency of our ecological situation. This is vital. And we will talk about the details. But for now, just consider this. Tomorrow is not going to be like today. This state of stability that we've enjoyed for a long time is coming to an end. And there are going to be radical disruptions in our way of life. And a lot of people are going to suffer in the coming decades. So we need to take this head on. We need to tell the truth. Unfortunately, we are very much like people out in the middle of the ocean in a boat. And there's a big hole in the boat. And the scientists are telling us that there's a hole in the boat. And they publish research reports and papers and give lectures, and they tell us, yes, there's a very big hole in the boat. And we're actually incentivizing people to chop the hole in the boat. But most people aren't listening because it's distressing to think about the hole in the boat. It's a buzzkill to think about the hole in the boat. So let's go to the other end of the boat and try to be happy. And that's not going to work. We have to talk about the hole in the boat. Now, another way to think of this, another metaphor, is that we're very much like the pedestrian who's crossing a major boulevard in a big city. Imagine 8 lanes of traffic and the pedestrian walking across the intersection, head down, looking at the cell phone the whole way across. That's us. That's us. We are so preoccupied with our daily lives and with whatever amusements might be on the screen that we neglect to look at the dangers, the threats that are posed right around us. So we need to look up. Now, what kind of crisis is this? And this is an interesting question, isn't it? Because we hear this pitched in all sorts of ways. Some people say, well, this is a technological crisis. We just need better technology so that we can have a better energy source that's more sustainable. And that might be true. Other people say, well, this is a crisis of physics because there's too much carbon in the atmosphere. And if we were just simply to stop putting so much carbon in the atmosphere, then that would solve the problem. So that's true as well. But other people say, well, this is a crisis of biology. In other words, it's a problem of ecological overshoot. And we're exceeding the carrying capacity of the planet. Too many people, too much impact on the planet. And that would also be true. It's a crisis of society and governance. It's a crisis of politics. It's a crisis of mental health and spiritual health. All these things are true. Most of all, it's a crisis of relationship. It's a crisis of our relationship with our bodies, with one another, and our habitat. And to top all that off, it's a crisis of discourse. In other words, we're failing to talk about the most important thing on the planet right now. Even a casual look at modern media shows that we talk about everything else except the most pressing issue on the planet today. And that's something that has to change. And that's something that we can address in these conversations. We can start to talk about the reality of our predicament. So, in the weeks and months to come, I would invite you to participate, get a hold of me. We'll have these conversations. I will share with you some reflections about where we are and where we might be going, how we might choose to live in the face of this unfolding predicament. So I look forward to talking with you more, and we'll be in touch.